to be in bed, but yes.
That would be nice. I keep thinking it's Monday.
Yes. Good morning, welcome to SHOWstudio. Welcome to a very early Sunday morning for those like us who are in the UK. Thank you so much for making this early wake up. It's Victoria Beckham Day. It's 10th anniversary of Victoria Beckham, and so it's a big moment. It's a live show. It's streamed in Piccadilly Circus here in London. It's big. And they've been showing now for a while all our shows from the beginning, so it's a real anniversary. Before getting into it, I would like my extraordinary and beautiful panel of lovely women to introduce themselves, starting from you.
Hi, I'm Rosanna Falconer. I'm a brand consultant and co-founder of Fashmash, which is a fashion and tech network.
Good morning, my name is Karinna Nobbs and I'm a freelance academic and retail strategist.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Williams-Baffoe. I'm a lecturer at Central St Martin's and Royal College of Art.
Hi, I'm Phoebe-Lettice Thompson, and I'm a stylist, mainly working with like pop artists.
Great, thank you again for being here. So Victoria Beckham 10th anniversary, we all know where it comes from. She started with a very humble show in New York 10 years ago where she actually described her own collection, which was quite brave, you know, for a pop star / celebrity becoming designer, criticized by everybody, standing there, first show, mic in her hand, describing the show. Kudos. And then we've seen what happened. Her style has changed during the year. It has become more and more comfortable and self-assured until now, where I don't know if she's back in London or if she brought it to London just to celebrate the anniversary, but anyway, she's home. We were discussing just before going live what happened this morning in the press. Would you like to elaborate?
Yes, well, you couldn't help but notice Sunday Times, which does love a sensational article at the best of times. That's what the Sunday papers are all about, but it does say that the label is leaking £4,000, losing £4,000 per day. And when we were discussing this just before the panel, we said, actually, perhaps it does make for a sensational headline, but really, with a turnover of 100 million, many brands might be doing the same.
Oh yeah, and even more.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean it's good, but it's not, I mean, burning cash when you're growing, it's quite normal, but you know, people that don't know business, they read it in a very bad way.
It does sound quite shocking.
It didn't do her a favor.
And I think you also pointed out, Mimma, that perhaps the exception here is it is a 10-year established brand that I think it seems to have real consumer appeal and consumer success. So it's surprising that that is the case.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what's happening financially in Victoria Beckham, but it is also obvious that when they go out and look for investment, there is a need of investment of cash, but sometimes cash is injected in a company to fuel the growth, actually opening new stores and doing new things. So, yeah.
I wonder if she has new offices right in Hammersmith, doesn't she?
Yes, yes.
I wonder if it's because she's always tried to kind of do everything herself, and she does obviously as a private company to a certain extent. That kind of protectionist has almost kind of gone against her a little bit in a way, and that actually I know she took investment this year, but perhaps that could have come earlier in order to...
But you know, it wasn't her own company 100% because Simon Fuller was the first investor in it, or her partner. I'm not sure, I don't know if Neo Investment who injected this money, bought Simon Fuller out, or
she gave more away.
Or she gave more away. I think Simon Fuller is out, but I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Should have checked better.
My research, it's hard to find the information.
Because it's a private company, you know, they're not public, and so they don't have to release results. That's why we don't know, you know, there's been any kind of speculation. But again, Victoria Beckham is a celebrity as well, and in this country, the press likes to be against
There's a big reason that the press are talking about her on a Sunday rather than any of the other wonderful designers on the schedule today. Yes.
There's also, with the investment, there's also a new CEO, Paolo Riva, who recently was the CEO of Diane von Furstenberg. So he's used to, working with famous women, famous strong women. And, maybe exactly as you were saying, to have someone, she had CEOs before, but this is someone who comes from the industry, knows the industry, is known and respected in the industry, because before the managing directors and CEO were coming from the Simon Fuller Group, which is a talent management company. It's a different thing. So what do we think? What do we expect, Jennifer and Phoebe?
I think we're going to see some really beautifully curated styles. I think what's lovely is just sort of seeing how she's progressed from this pop star into this fantastic, I mean, she's always been a mogul anyway. I admire her because of the way that she manages what I call brand Beckham. But I think we're going to see some really carefully curated pieces. For me, I think Victoria Beckham is a success story in fashion. Coming on what you said about people love to sort of bring celebrities down, I think she's kind of really shown the naysayers who she is, what she's about. I'm going to put my hands up. I was one of the naysayers in the beginning because I sort of think, oh, pop star. But looking at her history and what she's done, we were talking earlier about how she went out and got experience. She interned a lot. She's really worked hard to get to where she is. So I think it's fantastic to sort of see her coming back here to the UK to do an anniversary show 10 years on. And who would have thought that? 10 years ago when she first started out doing this, quite a few people would have said, no, that's not going to happen. So I think this is fantastic that we're seeing this. And I really hope that the collection sort of reflects, I guess, the 10 years of her, I would call success.
Yeah.
That's great, and you just said it beautifully.
Thank you.
But I agree,
so
to see where she comes from and how she was, killed almost even before being born at the beginning, also because of the way she used to look like, and actually she has learned how to not only refine her own look, but refine her fashion.
Absolutely. I remember looking at her denim label, which I then thought at the time had been the first Victoria Beckham brand, but actually it was under, I think it was Rock Republic jeans, and I thought that was the beginning of it, and then it transformed into, this first small collection shown in New York. So I think I'm very excited to see.
It started with denim and eyewear, and I think a collection with Estee Lauder of makeup, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
And then suddenly boom. So, and I was a little bit also a naysayer at the beginning. It was quite trendy to say no.
Yeah, it was.
And then I remember a few years ago in a panel here, when I was a panelist, I started thinking, there's something really interesting there, and I looked at the camera and said, I'd like to work for you, Victoria, because I really, really loved also no, never, but I really liked the process on how it was progressing, and I thought there was something great behind. So I also salute the fact that they have now a top professional CEO, and I'm sure that it will probably put the finance back in check.
To stop those headlines.
Yeah.
One thing that I have, because her clothes are not for me, and likewise I was a naysayer at the beginning, and I don't perhaps watch the brand with as much interest as I do other brands. But something that I loved that she did recently was the collaboration with Vogue video for her September cover.
Where she makes fun of herself.
She makes fun of herself, and that really brought me round to her, because obviously she's known for her pout and she does, I think perhaps when she's talking about, when she gives backstage interviews, she does talk in quite an earnest way about her clothes. She has to, because of the naysayers at the start. She does take herself seriously. And then this Vogue video was just brilliant.
Did she say the UK icon of style?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Victoria Beckham.
And the way you got to see her in all of these fantastic archive Spice Girl looks, it's what the consumer really wants to see. Everyone's dying for a Spice Girl reunion. We won't get it, but to be able to have that alongside a really elegant October cover, wasn't it? I just thought that was fantastic, and that really brought me around to a new way of looking at what she does.
But I think she's right not to do a Spice Girl reunion.
Me too.
No, me too.
On the way here.
That's where it came from,
I totally
and that's where it
agree.
cannot
But just to
land.
dip her toes in via Vogue video was very cool.
I think they're trying to get Katy Perry to do it, to take her place.
Instead?
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she doesn't scream like Posh Spice to me, but you know, she's got the dark hair, I guess. That's the start.
Yeah, but yeah, I think her, you know, making fun of herself for the 10th anniversary. I mean, the best thing, and maybe we can see it. It's the campaign.
Yeah.
Did you see the campaign where she reenact what she did for Marc Jacobs with the
and they're going to have T-shirts with the picture on it.
Yeah,
So
look
cool.
at this. I mean, this campaign, these are her legs. And, you know, when they say, oh, Victoria, she never smiles, she doesn't want to undo her look, and then she does this. I think there's something, either she's very well advised, but still she does it, you know. But I think it comes from her. She's quite funny.
Yeah.
She's British at the end of the day.
Yeah,
you guys are
with
quite
that
funny,
dry sense of
naturally.
humour.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I didn't like the Vogue video, and I don't like the redoing of the campaign. I like the original campaign, and I like Jürgen Teller, and I wasn't a naysayer at the beginning, so it's weird. I feel like I'm
you're
the
the
opposite.
opposite.
So
Okay,
it's
tell
brought
us,
me
tell
around,
us.
but not yet. Interesting.
Tell
I
us
don't know.
what
I
you
just
think.
think it wasn't. I don't know what it added by revisiting it, or it wasn't like different enough for me.
Do you mean the campaign?
Yeah,
right.
I think it was a commercial jab, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it kind of sat funny with me. And the video, I don't know, it didn't speak, it sends out lots of different messages. I think the problem I have with the Victoria Beckham brand is it's very hard to say you're a Victoria Beckham woman, like the kind of, I'm coming at it from a kind of consumer persona type area, and it's very hard to kind of detail what that person is and what their lifestyle is, and I think that could be another kind of contributor to, I don't know, to her kind of identity so far, and also that I would be struggling to say what is her kind of iconic piece, or what, or to point someone out in the street and say, oh, that's
Victoria Beckham.
yeah. And typically, I can normally do that with other designers.
I think the thing about the video is it was very savvy YouTube content.
Yeah.
Because for something to go far on YouTube and to get the eyeballs, it needs that like Spice Girls virality potential, but completely in terms of would a Victoria Beckham customer watch that and love that?
I don't know. I think they probably would.
But I struggle to find out who the Victoria Beckham customer is. I'm just looking back at her collections. I find I'm really liking pieces and full looks, but I'm trying to identify who that customer is, who her girl is.
I think this is the problem, or you know, the opportunity. I think Victoria Beckham today, in the past probably 2 years, 4 or 5 seasons, the customer could be, I'm going to say it could be the Phoebe-Philo customer, so a strong woman who's quite androgynous, not too girly. That's why you don't like it. and probably professional, probably made her own money. I mean, all these are cliche, but you see what I mean. But that also brought people saying she's copying Celine. And probably she wasn't copying Celine, but probably that's what she likes. You know,
I think it was genuinely the
I think
aesthetic
it's very
that she
hard to
liked.
be a woman's designer and not putting yourself in the fashion you design. And that's probably the style, and that's the way she dresses today. So that could be a place left, that could be a good opportunity there today for her. But then the real Phoebe-Philo clients, customer, probably wouldn't want to be a Victoria Beckham. Help me out here, you know, it's just the perception of the brand and of the name. But
I think there was a bit of a
trousers
tipping
are
point.
cut very well. I have a pair of trousers. They cut really well, you know, so why not?
And that from her sort of influence from Roland Mouret when he was sort of, you know, guiding her, I think, as a bit of a guru
same
in the
group.
background. Yeah, so I think
was
that's
that, was that his role? So I think everybody at the beginning, and the naysayers at the beginning, would say it's all designed by Roland Mouret. What was his role? Was it that he was an artistic director?
Well, he told me. He told me at the time because I asked him, and he said, "I'm certainly not designing." Also because
Where's the
she's a
time?
competitor in a way. But I have given her all the names of the suppliers and producer, and so it's a little bit like the economy of scale that happens in groups now. I think there was some pattern cutting very close there, and I think her problem at the beginning is that it looked very much like Roland Mouret, but at that time Roland Mouret and Antonio Berardi looked the same. I don't, it was that stiff dress of a certain type of woman. I think she moved on more.
Definitely.
I think she moved on in a more relevant, modern way more than the other two.
Yeah.
Well, fashion has changed so much in the last decade, and she's just steadily and really not only kept pace, but I think she's managed to, just as she's changed her own look, her brand has progressed, and she is the biggest ambassador for her brand. I mean, there's no doubt about it, and I think having her at the helm and the way that I think women do really want to dress like her.
But is that why there is not another famous ambassador of a brand? Do you think that a celebrity doesn't want to step into her shoes?
Because you'll be second best, won't you? Or she's the lead, and I can imagine that. Also, maybe she doesn't want to let go of that as well.
Yeah, she says she says as the brand gets bigger, it's difficult to really focus on the tiny things and perfect everything. So I think there's still this kind of, she doesn't want to let go. It's her baby. So
typical founder.
Exactly. But you're seeing her, she's sort of moving and progressing, obviously with having Paolo on board. So maybe his influence might steer her to kind of step back a little bit, but I don't know.
We have to hope that they will get along well, because it didn't happen with Diane from Fürstenberg.
Also, if we're looking at the last decade in fashion, so last night I was at Mary Cook Ransu celebrating her 10 years with the show, and if we're talking about motifs and codes of the brand, it was a celebration.
It was there for us to see. I mean, this curtain came up.
A collection of collections. Every look, you knew it was Mary.
But it was a little bit even too much. The greatest hits, I could count the years. It was well done, though.
It was beautifully
It was very Mary.
I was a huge fan, and if it was just the same approach couldn't be done today. She said on her Instagram that this will be a celebration of the codes of her house, and she named them as a mix of masculine and feminine silhouettes, unexpected colours, and there was one other thing which I can't quite remember, but they're not as identifiable as, Mary is known for her motif. So as a celebration of 10 years, this will be interesting. And I really do notice what you said earlier, Karinna, about I find it hard to find the key piece.
I think it's the 10-year kind of collection that she's released as kind of limited edition pieces. I had a look at the price point, and there's kind of like a key ring that's £95 all the way up to a piece that's just over £1,000. But it's like a shoe, a bag. It's very accessories focused, which again kind of points to that we need to maybe make some money. Accent.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I misunderstood, but accessories are what make money to the brand, so to the company. So, but for me, the problem is that I don't visualize a Victoria Beckham bag.
No. I think she's stronger and actually could point a Victoria Beckham bag out in the street.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it's starting. Sorry. It seems, it's live, so we haven't seen it. We haven't seen anything. I don't even have a press release. That maybe I should have asked for. We don't know anything. Have you read something before?
Just what she said on Instagram about it being a celebration of the codes, and delighted to be back in London.
Which is what we expect,
Exactly. Although actually
she said the set was going to be exceptional.
It's like, I think these are the Americans. I think there are different rooms for, because it can be this small, but it's as if she's recreating the small first show, because it was really that, but this is, I recognize the American press. So this is, there is a buyer there. Anyway, I don't know how she divided people, but this is probably 1/100 of the people there. Where is it?
And there's another at 10:30. I heard it was in Mayfair near her store or at her store.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she's
It's
going
in
to
the
the cash till after.
she's in the gallery next to her store in Dover Street.
The gallery, that's
And then you
exactly.
can buy immediately.
You can buy
in
her
the
t-shirt,
store.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
More
she's
than the
signing the t-shirts this afternoon.
Yeah, and she's behind the till, I read. So again, you know,
Using the celebrity.
self-deprecating. I mean, she's making fun of herself again. Yeah, but yeah, it's in the what's the name of the gallery next to her store? Oh my God!
It begins with a P, I think. I can't remember it.
Anyway, so yeah, and the gallery, I've been in there, so it's this long space. You come in, it's quite narrow, and then there are different rooms going towards Berkeley Street in the back, and so probably people are separated by room.
By geographical location.
Yeah, see,
Oh, here we go.
do we recognize the music?
You don't?
Do you recognize?
Yes, Soul to Soul.
Oh, well
I was
done.
going to say
guys.
90s.
Yeah, very good. Who needs
That's alive, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Ah, yes, yes. Right.
Is it glossy? I can't tell.
Right on Stella 10.
Stella Tennant in white's not bad at the beginning.
Yeah, and you're right, Mimma, it's all divided into different rooms.
That's my
isn't it?
look of next season, right?
I imagine you in it.
Yeah.
The cami does remind me of the kind of thing she would wear with very low-waisted jeans from Rock and Republic back in the day. Yeah. I think camis are definitely due a revival.
Even the music, I think,
Yeah.
like where she came from when she did her solo career. I liked her. I like her now, but I must say,
I forgot about
yeah, I loved all of that.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
No, it was a quick stab at it and then sort of quickly went into, Rock and Republic.
I like this more.
Yeah.
What are those pants or boots? No pants, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is this the beginning of the unexpected colours?
Yeah.
Come on, give it some chance.
You're a fan. I know you're a fan.
I also remember once she said in an interview, I don't go to the gym because they don't do gym shoes with heels. And yet,
And now she lives in flats.
and yet because she is also influenced by trends and
Yeah.
fashions
'Cause
like
everyone
everywhere.
lives in flats now,
And,
yeah.
and that's why her shows are so much more modern.
Yeah, I've noticed now in reviews that a lot of designers are getting picked up on models struggling to walk, and it just looks awkward.
There was a problem last night at America Trans. I mean, we're not talking about that, but it was beautiful. But those shoes,
It just
anyway.
doesn't look right. It doesn't look modern anymore when that happens.
but
Yeah.
also they couldn't walk. So this is not very unexpected so far, and I think this is Victoria Beckham style now, and that's when I say she's probably trying to get the Phoebe Philo.
That look with the blazer and the skirt is, to me, different for her, no?
It's
I mean, it's
very silly.
unstructured.
that was the third code she mentioned. Print.
unstructured or print.
Print. I remember. I was like, and one more. That is the one. She said print.
I'm loving everything I'm seeing.
Well, yeah, and I can just see it on Working Women. I mentioned earlier, just before the panel, that some of my friends who work in the city said they used to buy a lot of Victoria Beckham, but have recently found it too fashion, in inverted commas,
yeah, probably.
and too kind of edgy, and they couldn't. But actually, I think
This is
a
a
lot
little
of
bit
this
too
is.
close to Celine. Sorry.
I think this is very. I think this is this is fantastic workwear, and it's tailored in the right places. It's not too loose and.
But are these people that have to be in suits?
I don't think
No,
anymore.
not at all. These
Even
are
lawyers are
friends
not in suits
Yeah,
anymore.
that's
so
the thing. They really don't.
But
No,
they
but
probably
these are
unable
women
to
who
do
were
anything else.
probably loving
Yeah.
the kind of Roland Mouret style at the beginning and haven't liked the Celine style so much recently. But if this is a 10
Oh, jeans. I wasn't expecting jeans, I must say.
I think Alexander Fury's quote about her when he said that her fashion reflects the times, it doesn't direct the times. I thought that was that's quite spot on.
That is, yeah.
And I think that is what a lot of women want, so that is quite a clever space to be in.
But that's why I would be surprised if this doesn't sell. I think this is the almost formal wear for today.
Yeah, the only thing, I think the
Very
price
easy to
point
wear.
is a little bit
Very
tricky
high.
for her. I looked at her, I don't know if she's classing it as a diffusion collection, the V by VB, and the codes, even though we're critiquing her a little bit for not having codes, were there, and it's about a third of the price. And that I can see, I don't think that's been very effectively PR'd, because I knew it in my head, but I hadn't seen it much, and it's actually really strong. And like a skirt is 300, a blazer is about 600, which is half the price of the mainline collection. And I haven't seen it in real life, so I don't know about the quality, but
for me, the problem is that I don't believe in second lines, because they often kill your actual...
it was interesting that she's one that's introduced it when everybody else has closed theirs.
Yeah, exactly. The diffusion line, I don't think it's a good thing for your brand, for what you stand for, because then people say I'm wearing Victoria Beckham, and actually they're not, you know. And often diffusion lines are not even designed by the designer. Sometimes they're designed by the licensee or whatever.
Yeah.
You know.
Although I think in her case, she'll still be doing it. But I agree, the brand has to be able to be stretched. It has to be strong enough.
Yeah.
I also wonder, if you are going to dress in the kind of fashion that reflects the times, why not just go to a very good high street or premium level brand? I think that Ganni in another way reflects the times. It's a very different aesthetic, but it does, and the price point, it's kind of 300.
Yeah, but hold on, there is
that.
also a different demographic, because I do wear some Ganni, but the dresses of Ganni, I'm too old for that. Even if you have the body, you don't, women of my generation need someone like Phoebe or Victoria, or someone who also designs some formal wear that it's good for them as well, but still young and modern. Well, if you take the Mollies, who I adore, and her show yesterday, it's more difficult for someone who's not in her 20s or 30s
I completely
anymore.
agree. What I meant was, if you're going to pay the price of Victoria Beckham, wouldn't you pay for a designer that really pushes the boundary and takes fashion forward?
Well, I hear,
and does something
as a
exciting
professional,
and new.
I totally agree. As a woman and consumer,
You want something
if I like
reliable.
this and I can afford it, I buy it. And then, you know, there used to be a time where I was given things that I liked, and then people would ask, what's that? And I wouldn't dare saying the name of the brand. I don't care anymore, honestly. You know, if I like that jacket and I think it's the right price. So, honestly, I could wear everything in this show, and I really, really love it.
I think we all could.
Does it tell me who Victoria Beckham is? Yes, for the past few years, I think it's the alternative to Stella McCartney. It's a little bit less girly, you know, it's a little bit more androgynous. It's replacing Phoebe, and if she's doing that, good for her, because it will be needed.
There's a gap in the market.
I fear that people will say, that's a wannabe Phoebe, because that's what people will probably say. What do you think? I want the stylist.
I think people will pick up on that, but so what if she's doing that?
It's very good.
There's,
it's very
like
beautiful.
you said, there's a gap in the market. I don't think she will care. Obviously, she knows Phoebe's work, and she's doing this show. I think she knows that people
all the way to the bank.
Exactly.
It's okay.
Well, I think it's a smart move.
But is it a 10th anniversary show? I mean, do you see anything that reminds us of what she's done? I think it's what she is now.
Yeah, it feels more now, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking for
Do you know what? For me, actually, the camisoles do. Maybe it's because my eye is really pricked by them at the moment because I've become quite obsessed with them. But that does make me think of the kind of thing she used to start wearing in a very different way. So, then I think just the colours. I actually do think they are quite identifiably Victoria Beckham now.
that sky blue with the brown trousers was very beautiful.
It's very muted, but then with a kind of kapow of a blue belt like there, or a dash of red. I have to say also, I like the pace of the show. You know, the models can walk, so it's pacey.
It's very chic, it's very self-assured.
It's also very New York.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
I don't know. I see quite a strong fit with her aesthetic in New York still. I think it's interesting that her collection will stand out if you put all the London collections together, which I think could be interesting. So I think she needs to find that point of differentiation.
Well, it's true that it's very different than London, and that's why I think she started in New York and not here. It's true that she's quite emotional, I think. It's true that she's she doesn't look like her family, is it? It's true that it doesn't look like the East London kind of creative bunch, but that's what London doesn't have. So in a way,
that's what I'm saying. It's actually quite clever.
And it's not Emilia Wickstead, and it's not America Transit. It's neither of those. So,
I mean, the finale song of Sex and the City, it's going to give anyone goosebumps right now, isn't it? No, I think that she's obviously very emotional, and you do that really, I feel a lot of sympathy to that. Like, she's come a long way in 10 years. It's fantastic. And how great for London to have her back this season as well.
I wonder, do we know if she's staying or if it's really one-off?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But I actually think New York Fashion Week being the way it is, with all the changes to the schedule, why not stay in London?
It seemed to be semi-permanent when I was reading about it.
I think it'd be good for her to be in London. Well, it'd be good for London for her to be in London.
But there used to be such a reason for brands to go to New York because of the buyers there and for the commercial reasons. But now I don't think New York necessarily holds the same gravitas that it did.
No, I think if they want the buyers and the gravitas, it's still Paris.
Yeah.
But London is becoming more important than New York. I mean, less boring also, but sorry, New York. But there's still, I mean, I've seen yesterday, even in the big shows, the Americans are not all here. I mean, I haven't seen maybe I just didn't notice them, but there are still many Americans that don't come, which is weird, right?
Yeah, I think
maybe from today, maybe Victoria.
I think the scheduling and all the moves and it being a Saturday.
Today,
maybe it really begins today. It's always hard to find the balance in the schedule, isn't it? And when to put the big hit designers and how that will affect when buyers arrive.
Yeah, there was some big ones yesterday already. Gareth Pugh and America Transit 10th anniversary, and even Molly. You know, Molly is becoming very important.
A huge commercial.
Does it?
I think so. Sold out on Net-a-Porter so quickly.
Really?
Yeah, lots of the pieces. It's really exciting.
I think it's a good.
Did you see the show yesterday?
I do. We should talk about Victoria Beckham.
Yeah.
So, Mimma.
Well, it's very hard for me to say because there's, I always say a professional is very able to detach her or his own taste from what it is. I mean, as a woman, as I said, I could wear everything that was there with that styling, with that's what I like to wear. As a professional, I think that has a big opportunity to do well. I think sometimes the problem is still her celebrity, the name of the brand. So it is an opportunity, but it can also be a problem, and she's going to be attacked, and she's going to be, the press didn't help her this morning. Why would you not help one of your own in the morning of her most important show? Why would you, you can like it or not, but you don't need to attack. So
I agree.
I don't know.
I think that's the UK press, though. They don't. They're very weird. They just don't like to sort of see success. But I think she's strong enough to weather that storm. As I mentioned earlier, I don't know if it was on camera. I was talking about brand Beckham. I think is very strong.
Yeah.
Even the relationship that she has with her children, the way that. I'm not going to talk about any other celebrities who put their children in the spotlight, but I think she does it in a palatable way. You know what I'm talking about. She does it in a really palatable way, and I think
Vogue is helping this month.
Absolutely. So I think that is also something to look at as well. It's not just the clothing, it's also her family, the lifestyle. So I think that's quite important. And she's showing that she's human, and I think the press don't like that in some weird way.
Well, I'm happy you bring that up, because did you read the Vogue very big article this month? We have the cover here, and it's incredible. And I was reading and thinking, is this an amazing PR, or are they really like that? Because it's really incredible, and as you said, maybe that gets on people's nerves. Oh, they can't be rich, famous, beautiful, happy, and in love, you know, which I think it's amazing. And also having a great brand, and also, you know, getting investment from new investment. You know, it's like, it's almost too much, and that cover, it's quite amazing. The article is very beautiful, and
paints a lovely picture, doesn't it, of her whole life and her brand. And I bought
and
into
having
her
Vogue behind you, having Edward Hanningford behind you, it's not, you know, it's not little, it's big. I don't think 10 years ago he would have done that.
No.
So, you know, and
I remember when Alex Shulman first put her on the cover, but more in terms of her brand rather than celebrity, and it was really giving it that fashion seal.
I don't remember it. When was that? Do we have a more or less?
I'm sure we can bring it up. And she was wearing very little makeup, and it was she was wearing knit.
Yeah, brown knit.
Because obviously she was on the cover as a celebrity far before then.
Wearing Victoria Beckham, or when she was?
She was wearing
Celine.
no, like Maria Gratz-Vogel or Oscar de la Renta, or I think it was a.
Where's this one, no?
Yeah, that one there, the spring style one.
The second
I mean,
one.
look at all her covers; it's quite remarkable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that really says, you know, take me seriously, and I think. But I really think right from that New York show, when it was just as you said, a really intimate presentation, and I think also in that first New York presentation, her nerves came across, which the press really understood and sympathized with. And that really, from that moment, I think the press, the fashion press, got behind her and started to understand her. We can't, you know, the tabloid press is a totally different thing.
But you know, one thing cannot be denied by anybody is that she worked hard.
Yes. Yeah. She really
I mean, and when people say, yeah, well, she's helped, she's got, you know, but she worked hard, and we've seen other celebrities that we won't mention that, like, just because I'm a celebrity, and I can't find what I like, and then they throw out horrible things, and then they last 6 months, they last 1 season or 5 seasons, and they make some money with a fragrance, you know, especially in America. And I think I always mention Victoria Beckham like the Olsen system for the Row. They last because it's good, because it has a place, and because they work hard. And not easy, you know, when, look at this, sorry, this reminds me so much of the Roland Mouret.
And that look, that was the look, wasn't it?
It's very interesting what you said, Mimma, because we were talking about this earlier, how people didn't really, this whole not wanting to take her seriously, but this sustainability that she's had, she takes herself really seriously. You can see that, and now that she is where she is now, exactly like other, again, I won't mention the celebrities who've come up with these clothing lines, and you know they're not designing it. You know that it's not them.
Yeah, and that's always them being like, oh yeah, I was so involved in the creative process.
They weren't.
They're saying, oh, I love ruffles, or oh, I love red, you know,
But I think
and sometimes it's better that they don't design it.
Yeah, but you can see that she's incredibly passionate and real about, you know, what she's doing. I think also as well the manufacturing side of things. I do know a factory that here in the UK, when she first started out, that worked with her. And she's really consistent. She's there, she's in the factory, she's looking at how things are made. So I'm not saying, but I don't sort of see other celebrity designers doing that, being that involved. So I think she really does care about, you know, what she's doing.
You know, I remember at the beginning of Stella McCartney, when I was still in Gucci Group, I remember once Kathy Orin wrote a big piece on Stella saying she is music, royalty, not fashion. Why would I wear a £1,000 skirt, you know? And it was really, I mean, I have huge respect for Kathy, and I think she's still one of the best writer out there. But I remember calling her and say, you don't really need to insult just because, you know, it's like, anyway, fast forward probably 7-8 years later, Kathy did an amazing piece on Stella because, like it or not, again, you know, she worked hard, she is a designer. Well, she also went to design school, but, you know,
she was in the year above me, and I remember, yeah, she's in the year above me. I remember when the supermodels came out, it was Naomi and Kate and Yasmin. Yes, Yasmin.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
And everybody was like, oh my God, it's not fair. But I was just like, come on now, you're not going to, you know, you've got the supermodel, you're going to use that.
Your best friends, of course you use it.
It's very, I think I know where you're coming from. You're sort of saying that because of this celebrity that you've got, you know, it's been afforded to them and it's on a plate, but they've worked really hard. Look at
what I'm saying is that it's not enough, because if you have that, but then there's nothing concrete behind, it won't last anyway.
Absolutely.
People are not, especially today, nobody's fooled for more than a few days. So, and you know, for me, Stella is the good example because the company is healthy, it's profitable. She is now people say Paul is Stella's daughter instead of Stella is Paul's.
That's
No,
right.
Paul is Stella's father.
So he said
Instead
in an
of Stella,
interview,
you know, exactly.
I hope young designers, you know, that are thinking, yeah, you know, Instagram, I'm going to flash in the pan. They really sort of look at what you've said, Stella and Victoria, and there are others as well. But it's not an overnight thing. Fashion takes time. It takes years. You want to be a legacy brand. You don't want to be somebody that's just there for like a year or 2 years and then you're gone. It takes time.
Yeah,
It
the
really does
difference
take time.
though with Stella, and that's to your point, Karinna, is that Stella is very recognizable. I mean, and by the way, she worked with Phoebe in Chloe. I mean, she was, when she was Chloe creative director, Phoebe was her number 2. So, you know, it could have been, and yet it's very different, you know, so that's my only thing, but I remember reading, but I don't remember exactly, Victoria saying, I realize also that I need a signature. So she knows that I see her signature now, and I was expecting exactly what we've seen. Is it recognizable as Victoria Beckham?
I don't
It's
think so.
getting to be that way, but
Also because she's wearing it.
But
So
flash forward 5 years now, we're going to be going, is that, oh, that's a Victoria Beckham, not, oh, that's Phoebe-Philo.
And also,
Hopefully, yeah.
flash forward 5 years' time, we can't predict, but say the trend is, I don't know, micro minis with yeah, exactly.
God forbid.
Will-
Women will always need that. We'll
No,
always need a
but
good
will she
suit.
then have, you know, you can't just chameleon your brand and your aesthetic and your codes to whatever the trend is of the time. And I think it's happened so naturally in the last 10 years for her because that's exactly what her look and her aesthetic has done. So as creative director, that's very natural for that to happen, but I think it'd be great if now it's just these are the brand roots. Let's really, that's the fundamentals, and let's not make these kind of sizable shifts again so the codes can really be solidified.
I also, yes, I agree, but I also applaud a brand that is able to evolve because the world is changing. We can't be wearing, you know, the Galaxy dress anymore. It's really
100%.
has been, and even Roland knows it, and he does. So I don't mind I applaud the evolution, but I still like to see your signature, you know, all the brands not a good example comes to mind right now, help me out here, but
if you think of someone like Prada though, the content and the kind of iconic, she still manages to do iconic pieces, but if we were to describe the brand personality, we could probably all do it quite simply.
I think she invented brand personality,
Yeah.
Miuccia, so yeah,
Yeah, so, but
in a way. But that's Miuccia Prada. Yeah, but you know, I think Prada didn't evolve in the language. And that's why they got into trouble. I mean, they didn't grow as much as they wanted. I don't know how to. Yeah, but you recognize Prada for sure.
So, so another example of a design house that evolves but doesn't have codes. Is that what you
No,
mean?
but
But does have codes.
See? not that easy to find.
Yeah, I do see what you mean. Yeah.
I think Phoebe was one.
Yeah.
Celine by Phoebe Philo was one, because if we go back to what she did, I mean, I think her being very forward and very modern and very relevant was that she imposed a sort of simple minimalism without it really being minimal. I mean, she told women, this is the way you should dress, you know, when you want to look like a woman of a certain maturity. And she did that in the middle of a totally different time in style. But then she evolved in that as well. And so I would be happy if Victoria takes over and she does it well. I don't even know, maybe she's got half of the design team
Many people
with her, because they certainly don't work with Hedy, so, you know.
There isn't a crowd outside.
But this is what, so when I was at, I found this interesting.
There is a crowd or not?
No, well, I can't unless
When
they're
I was
standing
at the BFC, the Burberry show was live streamed in Piccadilly. So they're billing it in Campaign magazine as the first time this has ever been done. The Burberry did it about 6 years ago, but maybe it just wasn't, I don't know, live. Maybe it was post-show or something. Anyway, I do remember when that happened. You kind of expect there to be a huge crowd. Turns out during Fashion Week, not everyone is as interested in Fashion Week as we are. And there was not a big crowd. And it's Sunday morning
at 9:30.
Exactly.
I mean,
What a fantastic piece of marketing either way. I find that really exciting to see. I think that's
and also
super.
Piccadilly is not really where the people that know about Victoria. I mean, but that's Victoria Beckham also playing on her name.
Yeah, and it's
She's
the
more known than
marketing power
other
of it.
because of her
Just
name.
as a story saying my show was live streamed in the centre of London, which a lot of people, it's certainly the consumer centre of London.
I always love a photo of the family there, front row.
She released a Facebook chatbot a couple of days ago that had an augmented reality try-on experience for sunglasses that I kind of played with on the way here. It wasn't that good.
It was. So you seem to be in the mood I was expecting Rosanna to trash this because it's really not her. But actually,
We swapped places.
just tell us what you really think.
I like her, I like the brand, and I want her to work. And I think definitely the new member of the team and the investment, I think from a kind of brand extension perspective and price point and things like that, that's what needs to change. And I think her stores are interesting. We've not talked about her kind of stores, but
Many, 400 worldwide. So.
yeah, but her like actual she's only got 2. But I think when you look at them from the outside, they're interesting. They look kind of different. And she is the first person who's worked with Facebook to have this augmented reality experience that works within Messenger. So that's going to be, I presume, a heavy investment unless her and Facebook kind of did it as a joint collaboration for free. But she's working hard to get more people to know about those kind of entry price points. So I think it's really interesting that she did it on sunglasses. Like I said, the Capsule Collection focuses a lot on jewelry and kind of trying to get that younger customer in to buy the brand earlier that might evolve to a trouser or a blouser. A blouser?
Love that.
That was a good one. We invented a new piece of garment.
Yeah, this is the Capsule Collection.
And this is her first jewellery collection as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is. Well, shall we applaud Victoria and her 10th anniversary show?
Yeah.